Alright, 2 packages arrived here. This one has actually labels on both sides, and it's not actually anime, but I'm going to open it slightly off camera here because I can't open this without showing addresses that I'd rather not show, but... And apparently I left my big pair of scissors in the bag across the room, but oh well. This one is just simply an anime calendar shipped from China, which probably means it's not an officially sanctioned one, but I guess beggars can't be choosers at this time of year when everything's telling me that my anime will be showing up, or my calendars will be showing up in February, possibly. There's one coming from Japan, so that one's probably official, and I don't remember what series that was for. And I'm sorry if I'm a little all over the place in terms of what I think to say, because I've been running around and doing stuff all day. Some of it is with my own parents, some of it was helping a friend with stuff from storage at the place. Let's see if we can get this tape cut. Because this, whoop, and the calendar fell out, and I couldn't see what this was very clearly. Wasn't anything I ordered, but interesting. I don't know if that was intentionally thrown in there, or if maybe a worker was wearing and dropped it. But as you can see, for my desk calendar, this year, or next year rather, I chose Oran High School Host Club. I'm not sure if that's a bad quality image or a good quality manga image, so whatever. Let's see. Got hard to look through all of it. Looks like it'll be a nice calendar. Let's get 7, 8. And I know I've gotten one of these before and they're like totally out of order and it's some sort of factory mistake. But there you go, and the idea is simple. Just, hey, look, it stands. It's a desk calendar. Nothing complicated. So it's just, this is the only DVD that arrived today. Another one shipped and arrives tomorrow. Oh, I see. This is actually the one I would have preferred to arrive today. In fact, I think all of y'all would have preferred it today. Log Horizon. This is more Monogatari, 2nd season. This one is Shinobu Time. Don't know much about it. Looks like the image on the discs is just the image from the cover, and I don't want to bend that. Postcards. Now that one's very strange. Very interesting. So lots of little extras here, and the other thing that arrived, of course, there's a lot of little extras for that too. So many little extras. Sorry if I'm complaining a bit. Heart Under Blade picture scroll. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Huh. What in the world is that? You know, I think when I watch it, I will know. And look, a booklet. And then, of course, this without that is just the same as the front and back of the DVD. Well, that's the latest release in the Monogatari US releases. And if I could get this to go in there, then there we go. Alright, and so the other thing's actually just back here. It's the Bubblegum Crisis Blu-ray Kickstarter result. So I guess first we're going to go through the extras. We got the coin here, which as you can see is actually very magnificent. It's surprisingly heavy. Could be a pound, or maybe more. I don't know. I guess I'm not good at estimating weights. Let's see here. You got a Mega Tokyo 80 Police keychain, which I don't plan on taking out of that package because this stuff just looks way too nice. I have to figure out what I want to do with it. This patch, which looked really great in the picture and actually looks really great in real life. And then we got the postcards. And one thing I noticed is that there does seem to be 2 of each. I can't remember if that was part of the plan or not. Hopefully somebody can tell me. Because we got some that are upside down, some that are right side up. And I guess I haven't looked to see if there's doubles of all of them. So I know there's one of that, one of that, one of that. I guess one of that, one of that, and one of that. Here's a second one of these. 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 And as you can see, all these second ones are upside down. There appears to only be one of this, which is why I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. I haven't had enough time to ask about it. Well, I guess I did have time, but I don't know. It just seems like things are really busy. It's getting around to Christmas. I was just helping a friend move stuff, so like I said, I'm exhausted. And so here we got the set itself. Now the quality of the box set, since this has come up before, obviously the Monogatari stuff feels like a very flimsy cardboard. This doesn't quite feel like the quality of some of the better box sets, but it's definitely better than that. It's kind of an in-between sort of thing. Let's see. And we've got 3 discs. Disc 1 we have, so as you can see here, that's actually the list of names from backers. My name is on one of these. You can see that the case was designed to be invertible, and the names here are the same as the names here. So all the disc 1 names are the same. You got disc 1 here. Notice that then I guess you can only just see me, and if I could find the light, I don't know. It seemed like maybe there could be distortions there, but maybe Blu-ray that's more common. I don't know. Seems like it should be fine, but I'm not had enough time to fire it up yet. But it all looks great. So that's disc 2 with the second set of names, and then you've got disc 3 with third set of names. Did I line that up right? So, I wish I could talk about the contents of it because I haven't fired that up. But I do know from the Kickstarter updates, they spent a lot of time, a lot of attention to details, and ran into a lot of interesting problems. Some of the original Japanese somebodies didn't notice, I guess, for the Japanese release or something. Anyways, it's not that big of an update this week, but two things is better than nothing, right? And like I said, something else I think was coming tomorrow, but I thought that was this coming, so I think I'm having trouble keeping track of what's arriving when. Oh well. Could be worse. For now, let's see. What I watched. Well, I guess I commented to myself earlier today that I had really not watched a whole lot of series, but when you get down to it, there's been more unexpected, almost sudden get-togethers with friends and family just because Christmas time is here. And speaking of Christmas time is here, there's also the DVD collection subreddit's 12-day movie party thing, and I've missed two so far, one today and the Die Hard one, but I guess when you get down to it, those have been interrupting me, and then there's been just Minecraft projects where I just haven't felt like distracting myself because I was leveling mountains and filling valleys in order to install stables for horses. And that probably segues really well into the anime I was just watching, which was really appropriate considering I was building stables for horses, and that was the second season of Silver Spoon. And for the first couple of episodes, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to enjoy it as much as the first season, but then it just started getting better. And one thing I really like about it is it kind of set itself up in a way where a lot of animes would fall into a pitfall of pretending like it had some brilliant idea, but when you get down to it, it's kind of insulting to the other people. I mean, it's not like the people, I guess I can't really talk too much about the details, but interestingly, it ended up playing off in a really respectfully realistic way, I guess. I'm not sure how else to describe it. If you've seen the second season, you probably know what I'm getting at. And I guess I don't want to talk about too much more details, but that's because it'd be really easy to just spoil stuff that I'm trying to talk about. But needless to say, even though Silver Spoon is more or less about agricultural stuff in general, there is a sub-focus on horses, mostly because one of the major characters really likes horses, and so the main character is involved with horses, and so it was really fun watching that while at the same time going through the process of building stables and taming my first horses in Minecraft. And for my next trick, I'm going to actually build places to ride the horses where you can figure out their speed and their jumping capabilities in the game. Because without that stuff, you have to use some sort of mod, and it sounds like that maybe has to be server-side or something like that, which is unfortunate, but oh well. Alright, excuse me. This is what I get for talking while still doing so much stuff, or after having done so much stuff. But before that, I did watch, oh gosh, what was its name? Because it's right here. The Ambition of Oda Nobuna. So you might have realized or noticed last week that when I opened it up and I started pronouncing the name, I hesitated because I had clearly had a very vague idea of the name in my head, but I hadn't really sat down to actually try and read it in detail and try and figure out what the anime was. And I bring that up because it's kind of funny that I tripped on the name because I was going to pronounce it The Ambition of Oda Nobunaga. Not that I know who Oda Nobunaga is. Well, I kind of do now, I guess, but I didn't before. I mean, history's never been my real strong suit, and Japanese history, my Japanese history would of course be even worse. I'm not even quite sure of the timings of various things and appropriate names for this or that, so it kind of tells you that if I remember the name Nobunaga as if that's an important name, then that's probably an important name. Not necessarily because I remember, or not necessarily because it's me that's remembered, but because somebody who doesn't tend to remember this stuff just remembered the name. And so it's funny because the main character, the premise of the anime is it takes place in the Sengoku period and is about Oda Nobunaga, except that this person isn't Oda Nobunaga, it's Oda Nabuna. And even the main character makes that mistake in the very beginning of the very first episode, and it's amusing that I made the same mistake, and I'm not a history buff, but it clearly means that it's that important concept. As for the way the anime worked itself, did I mention that I did enjoy the second season of Silver Spoon? Yeah, I think I did. For The Ambition of Oda Nobuna, no, I'm not going to pronounce it right if I say it so fast. I thought it was actually pretty entertaining. I've known one scene that was from it, and that was surprisingly early, where the guy is clearly informing the flat-chested girl that boobs are not just fat, they're filled with men's hopes and dreams. And that's just a fun way to think about it, even if it's not appreciated. And this is that anime that it's from, so it was interesting to watch. And see its take on some of that stuff. I wouldn't say it was error-free, but there was something refreshing about it. Sort of I don't know. It's basically, you watch anime about something, and you kind of know, okay, this was probably written by somebody who's an otaku about this specific subject, and they really wanted to show it to us. Like Girls in Pants, or you'd watch that, and you're like, somebody really wanted to show off their guns. And then you'll watch any number of anime with a bunch of guns in them, and it's the same thing with that. Obviously, Hetalia would be a history buff's dream anime sort of thing. And Oda Nobuna is about somebody who's a otaku of the Sengoku period who ends up in that period, and his interesting interactions therein. It's almost kind of made up, but it's not really. Not as much as other things that I've said are kind of made up. Oh well. But that said, yeah, I found it to be a pretty enjoyable watch. And I guess that was it for anime, just those two things. I mean, technically there's always little things here and there. Like, my friend I've been showing him Gargantia, the Vertibus Planet, and I really do like that one. That one's very nice. Although it's very interesting because he was told that the second half was more exciting because there's more mecha stuff there. Whereas for me, I found the first half to be just the most exciting part because that's the one where you just have the most clash of cultures and values that don't necessarily think the other side is wrong. They just don't understand how the other side is right. And so there's a lot of thoughts and discussions and conflict and people who can't even talk to each other, meeting each other for the first time. And it's fascinating. I really like the first half. I don't think the second half's bad. But I have less interest in the mecha stuff other than it's placed to serve the concepts I talked about in the first half. And so the second half actually serves that part pretty well. It's just not quite as well as actually experiencing it, sort of. I don't know. I'm hoping that I just didn't blurb too much there. But I've been watching other things just because, well, like I said, there's the 12 days of movie party DVD collection thing. So the only new movie I've really watched is It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, I've never seen the original. I think there's been a remake. Somebody might have mentioned that. But yeah, it was interesting. Actually, it was more nice. I have some issues I would kind of bring up with its execution, but at the same time, I wouldn't want them to try and remake, especially in this day and age where I know that whoever remakes is just going to royally screw it up. I mean, like, one example is you kind of end at the very end, and you kind of still have this feeling of wanting karmic justice for a specific character that you, at the end, don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I think it's okay that you don't know that because it would ruin the flow at the very end of the movie. The flow at the very end is supposed to just be exactly what makes it a Christmas movie. You know, everything else just is really just an interesting story. And again, I can't help but think that there would probably be a better way to tell it, but I think that ship has flown and I wouldn't want somebody to try. But there's been plenty of other movies, and some were new. Like, I missed the Die Hard movie night, so I watched it the next day. And then since I watched Die Hard, I'm like, I've never seen Die Hard 2, and I do have that on DVD, so I might as well watch it. And I can completely understand why people don't like that one as much as the first. I mean, it's just kind of goofy in certain ways. Like, for example, the tagline for it is Die Hard, which is actually a really great tagline, especially for a sequel to Die Hard. But if I were to choose a tagline that more accurately reflects the movie, it would be John McClane is always right and everybody else is always wrong. About everything. And that's just kind of goofy. And there's all these other little things where it's like, they didn't really need that in the movie. They honestly could have done a better job if they had kept it more focused instead of saying, all these little quirks we introduced of characters at some point in Die Hard. Well, that's pretty much their character in Die Hard 2, I guess. A lot of returning characters. I was actually quite surprised they got so many of them. But I just think the movie didn't use them right. And that's probably a very valid criticism, considering the next movie after that, Die Hard with a Vengeance, is, of course, really great. I mean, I've already seen that one probably more than the first Die Hard, simply because every time we would turn on the TV in the family house back in the 90s, if we were on HBO, Die Hard with a Vengeance was on. It's like, oh, well, actually, this will be fun to rewatch again. I mean, watching it now and thinking about the movie structure as a whole, it's, well, I don't know. It felt like there could probably be more to it, but at the same time, it's not bad. And then I watched Die Hard 4, which is Live Free or Die Hard, and it didn't really feel like a Die Hard movie. It felt like a good Bruce Willis action movie, but like maybe it would have been better if it wasn't tied down to trying to be a part of the Die Hard franchise or something like that. I don't know. I mean, there's aspects of it which are just computer hacker, over-the-topness of questionable. I don't know that that's the way things would really work. Whereas with the first 3 movies, you kind of felt like maybe they were possible. They just introduced little fictional elements here and here. But you kind of felt like it wasn't maybe entirely impossible, although it was probably pretty close to it still. But the fourth movie just feels completely impossible. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, again, one of those things where it just makes it not feel like a Die Hard movie. Oh well, and I didn't see the fifth one because I don't have the fifth one, but that's okay. I got enough watching the Apple guy, the Mac guy, be a hacker. It took me a while to realize who he was. Fun stuff. And I watched 20 Million Miles to Earth, which actually makes me want to watch the original King Kong because I've never seen that before, and I kind of want to. I was actually really surprised watching it how the stop motion actually is used pretty much the same way a lot of CGI stuff is used now, where they do some interesting practical effect combined with the CGI in order to like make a CGI entity and a real entity interact, but then the interaction beyond that point tends to be CGI. And so they did the same thing with the claymation stuff back there, and it was actually very interesting. Very nicely done. I watched the black and white and not the colorized version. It sounded like the director on the director commentary track maybe really likes it, but the colorization, as in like it's come really far, it looks really good. But I wanted to give the original black and white feeling a good pass. Not even sure if that's valid English what I just said. Anyways, stuff. Somebody did comment on one of my YouTube channels, but I figured that out last week when I went shopping for next month's anime. But Yakitate Japan is scheduled to come out. Woohoo! I mean, I mentioned that I think last week as something that I really wish would come out, and now I should probably do the same jinxing thing and say, well, I hope a Cheeky Angel comes out. Now it doesn't have to be under that name. I think the Japanese was Tenshi Konmaki. I guess I can't remember. Sorry, I'm way off tonight. It's been a tiring day. Why don't I just end it there? I don't know what arrives tomorrow. Maybe it's actually a couple things arriving tomorrow, but oh well. Y'all have a nice... It is Christmas time. Y'all have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, holidays, stuff. And I don't know if I'll be able to do an update next week. It really depends on if things arrive or not. I don't remember. But yeah, y'all have a nice week.